Lula from Brazil and Ahmadinejad from Iran. What is this? The new axis of evil? No. Luladinejad is a new axis of business. In the latest round of the increasingly warm embrace between Latin America and the Middle East, Lula and Ahmadinejad, meeting in Brazil, signed agreements on energy, trade, and agricultural research. Ahmadinejad does mean business. He's traveling with 200 Iranian businessmen. In the long run, Brazil wants to export to Iran not only meat, grains, and sugar, but trucks and buses as well. In Iran, they want to invest heavily in the oil industry, petrochemicals, agriculture, minerals, and real estate. And then, of course, there's the meat of the matter, nuclear energy. President Obama himself, at the G20 in London, remember? He admitted that Lula is the man, the most popular political leader in the world nowadays. So what is the man saying? He's saying that Brazil supports Iran's access to, I quote, peaceful nuclear energy. When Lula talks, world leaders listen. He said, and I quote, "I told Obama, I told Sarkozy, I told Angela Merkel that we will not get good things out of Iran if we corner them. You need to create space to talk." For Brazil, it's the IAEA that should solve the Iranian nuclear dossier and not the UN Security Council. Brazil has the 7th largest uranium reserves in the world. The country enriches uranium for its own nuclear energy program. No one is accusing Brazil of building a nuclear bomb. Brazil has been strongly against unilateral sanctions on Iran. In Lula's own words, and I quote him again, "It's simple. What we advocate for us, we advocate for others as well." And Ahmadinejad, he sang in tune. He even admitted on Brazilian TV that Iran and Brazil, I quote, "can build partnerships to build nuclear plants." Ahmadinejad's current tour of 5 countries in Africa and South America, Hugo Chavez Venezuela and Evo Morales Bolivia are also included, means South America especially is the way out for Iran to dodge more Western sanctions. For the leadership in Tehran, the supreme leader, the Revolutionary Guards, and the Ahmadinejad political faction, of course, Brazil is now a business partner and a strategic partner as well. This is South-South dialogue in action, multipolar world style. Iran sees Brazil as a possible mediator vis-à-vis the West, the US and Europe. And Brazil, for its part, wants a permanent seat at the UN Security Council and more soft power influence in the Middle East. And all this while Iran is not as isolated as Western propaganda would like people to believe. For instance, Iran is very much alert in the Caspian Sea. Iran is advancing its gigantic energy deals with China. And Iran is busy changing from dollars to euros. Of course, this is ruffling feathers everywhere. It would be too much to expect Western corporate media to pay attention to what Ahmadinejad actually said in Brazil. He said Iran is willing to buy enriched uranium abroad, but the country won't allow suppliers to set the terms. In his own words, and I quote, "No independent country would accept this proposal." So the quick question now to be debated between the 5 members of the Security Council plus Germany and Iran is about the volume of enriched uranium that should leave Iran to Russia and then to France and then return to Iran as nuclear fuel. Ahmadinejad in fact made a startling admission at his press conference in Brazil. He said, and I quote, "We have the conditions to enrich uranium at 20% and we have the legal right to do it. But to create an atmosphere of cooperation, we are ready to buy nuclear fuel." Even before the Luladinejad get-together, US corporate media had hit the hysteria button, what else? Warning that Lula may lose global influence just by talking to Ahmadinejad, and warning that the meeting would chill Brazil's relations with the US and damage its growing reputation as a global power. They still don't get it. Former Moldovan bouncer Avigdor Lieberman, Israeli foreign minister, was in Brazil and Argentina 4 months ago. Shimon Peres, the Israeli president, was in Brazil last week. Same with Palestine Authority head Mahmoud Abbas. Translation: Brazil, as one of the key emerging actors in the global south, along with Russia, India and China, may have a much better shot at global diplomacy than the heavy-handed US in Europe. And this is something that all over the global south is being talked about. During his radio show this past weekend, Lula even proposed a soccer match next March of Brazil, favorites to win the next World Cup, against a mixed Israeli-Palestinian team. So what if the UN takes a cue from Lula and sponsors a tournament including the UN 5, US, Russia, China, France and Britain, plus Germany, the negotiators with Iran, plus Brazil and Iran? Remember those Cold War days when ping-pong politics broke the ice between the US and China? Seriously, maybe the time is now for some real political soccer.